Hello everyone. How are you?
Hello.
I can't see myself.
This is what happens when I've got conditioner. Do you want to see yourself on the big
Just my
screen?
hair looks such a mess.
Look at the pair of us.
We look awful.
Oh my god! Let me just go and get a cap.
Oh God. Can you get me one?
Yeah, of course.
No, I can't wear a cap. People won't be able to see us. How are you? I wish we had one of those bloody social media lights.
We have.
Well, why can't we ever have the bloody thing on? Why do we always have to look like a bag of shite? Oh, Mark, I want that hat.
No.
Get me a nice hat. My hair looks awful. I'm having a bad hair day. Do you know why I'm having a bad hair day? Because I coloured my roots today. And don't you find whenever you do your roots, just for that day, it goes a bit weird because I've had to comb it and stuff. So I don't feel like myself. What? Mark! Idiot. No, I don't want to wear that. Give me that hat. Be a gentleman. I want to be a reindeer. Thank you. That's better. Oh, and that looks nice on you.
It doesn't. I look like a...
Do your sexy voice. I was talking to Mark today on the way home in the car, and I had to text him because there was a driver. And what did I text you?
I can't say.
Say it.
Can you do your sexy voice?
No, I didn't say that.
Your voice sounds really sexy.
No, I said you've got a really sexy voice.
Yeah, I thought you sent it to the wrong person.
And he just went,
I thought you'd sent it to the wrong person.
why, what person would I have been sending it to?
Your driver.
God.
It
Anyway,
really suits you.
Who thinks Mark's got a sexy voice?
Oh!
Not like that.
Oh.
That's annoying. Say yes or no. Who's got a
Hi,
sexy
Sarah Marsh, and you be here. Hello. Oh, and
Hello, Sarah Marsh.
welcome, Joanne Anthony.
Hello, Sarah Marsh. Hello, Sarah Marsh.
She's not a new
welcome
member.
to... Oh, I just said welcome, Sarah Marsh.
Yeah,
then.
but
Hello, Sarah Marsh.
Joanne Anthony, you can do that for.
Welcome, Joanne Anthony. Welcome, Joanne Anthony. Welcome. If you do that even once, I mean it. It's really, really
I'm not
painful.
gonna do
Let
it.
go of it,
I'm
Mark.
not
I'm
gonna
going to
do it.
smash it into 1,000 pieces.
I'm not going to do it.
Mark, you
Trust me.
are. Mark,
Marriage is
let me
about
just
trust.
explain to you that if you use that,
I know.
I will hate you all
Forever.
weekend.
I know.
And I won't talk to you. Get it. Let go of it.
Hang on. I just want you to hear something. Why are you... This is a
Let
preemptive
go of
strike.
it. Mark,
This is like Biden.
I know what you're going to do.
I'm not. I want to show you
Stop
something.
it.
I want to show you something.
No, I don't want to be shown it because I know what you're like. Get...
I'm not going to do it.
Mark! Oh, Mark, you're so annoying.
No, listen. Just listen.
Don't fucking
Guys,
touch that me with that.
I'm not going to. Guys, listen. This is called the executioner. Listen to the sound of electric. Can you hear it?
I swear to God, don't even think about it, Mark. And I'm really serious.
That really suits you, that hat.
Mark, stop it. Stop fancying reindeers. It's weird.
What
I'm
made
not
you
going to
say
be...
that?
Did you know that there's
What's
these
happened to
people...
your eyebrows?
There's these people that dress up in
Yeah, Furbies.
animal things and then they
Furbies.
have sex with each other.
Yeah, have I never told you that mascots, there's a whole world of sexual connection between various mascots.
Well, I suppose whatever tickles your fancy.
And apparently one of the Teletubbies was extraordinarily promiscuous. But I do like you in your reindeer hat.
Okay.
Where are your eyebrows from?
Well, they were drawn on today for loose women.
That one looks like a Nike tick.
Simone did them. They look great.
We love Simone.
We love Simone.
I'd run off with Simone if it wasn't the wrong
Mark
thing to
definitely
do.
fancies Simone.
I love Simone.
That's my friend Simone.
Look at you there. Look, you look beautiful in a frozen. Look at me.
You're turning into a Furby. You're frightening me. Mark, no. Mark, this is getting too weird.
Putting my finger in your ear. Oh God, that's how I want to itch my ears. Someone said my ear itch is about the menopause. Apparently I'm going into the menopause, which is a good sort of link, actually, into a story that we're going to... Look when I do my forehead.
Faith, we don't get given them. We can buy some of them if we want at a reduced price.
What?
Clothes from Loose Women.
Oh, that's nice.
This was from Loose Women.
Deborah
It's
Holsworth
nice,
says
isn't it?
Mark is sexy
Isn't it a
even in
lovely colour?
glasses. I like you. Thanks, Deborah. Sophie Fuller's got COVID and she's feeling like shite.
Oh, big hug.
Oh, Yinky Minky. Oh no, sorry, that's a comment on how to stay married. Good evening, Debbie. So, how is everyone? How is everyone?
Oh, Angie Bayliss is doing a lobster and steak night in her cafe.
Now, can I just talk
In
about
Falmouth.
lobster for a minute? I think lobster is massively overrated.
I don't. I love it.
Do that again. That sounded great. Go on, I just want to listen.
I made Mother's Day Mother's Weekend. My mum and dad and Dina are coming over for fish and chips and champers.
Oh, I don't. Fish and chips reminds me of my nan. We used to queue for hours in muddy food. But that reminds me of lobster. I hate lobster. It tastes boingy. Does anyone else hate lobster? It tastes... Hi, Richard Kavanagh. Hope you're well. It tastes boingy. It doesn't.
It's like everything. It depends what you're having. Yeah, I don't want like a whole lobster. I love lobster spaghetti made with fresh tomatoes. Aldo Zilli's restaurant in Soho years ago used to make the best lobster spaghetti you've ever tasted.
Where do you buy lobster from in a shop?
Fishmongers, you idiot.
Oh, for fuck's sake. What if you're down Sainsbury's or Aldi?
Jenny Fay says lobster is grizzly. Aldi do very good lobsters.
Why is it so stupidly expensive? It's offensive. It's outrageous. A bit like caviar. Don't mention Russia. Your ears on your hat are so cute, says Lior. They are. You do look cute. I kind of want to stroke you all over.
Right, come on. Let's stop mucking about.
Okay, who thought that J.K. Rowling was going to be somehow in cahoots with Vlad the Bad?
Pukin Putrid has invoked
cancel
our
culture.
J.K. Rowling's name.
J.K. Rowling.
Rowling.
J.K. Rowling. So, has anyone seen that Vladimir Putin has dragged J.K. Rowling into this international conflagration? And he's basically he's attacked our cancelling culture and used J.K. Rowling as an example because he claims that we all want to cancel Russia.
Which frightens me
because
he said that he will get the big guns out if any nation threatens Russia.
How much have you had?
Half a glass.
Say that again.
I am a reindeer. I'm doing very well for a reindeer.
Okay, number of things. We talked about some of this, was it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember. About the idea that at some point we talked about having to give Putin a way out of the conflict in Ukraine. I do think the West have to ask some deep, searching, probing questions about what we want Russia to be on the other side of whatever the outcome of this terrible situation in Ukraine is. And I think what Putin, I hate to say it. What do you think I'm going to say?
I wasn't listening.
No, okay, it doesn't matter. What do you think I'm going to say? If I hate to say it about Putin, what do you think I'm about to say?
You're going to say, like you felt sometimes about Trump, sometimes he's right.
I wasn't necessarily going to say it quite like that, but what I am going to say is Putin is playing a very clever card with what he's saying here. And J.K. Rowling has pushed...
But it frightens me because he's also invoked Nazi.
Well, he's drawn a parallel between the way in which the Nazis burnt books. So he's equating Nazi Germany with the most ultimate of cancel cultures. He's then conflating that with the cancel culture of the West. He's claiming that the West are blocking and cancelling things
Russia.
Like Rachmaninoff, various
not
German,
the West,
various
the UK.
Russian composers. I know in Wales it happened. Russian composers, Russian writers, Russian sports people. And his argument, which the reason I think he's being clever, is that he can really float this to his population
to the Russian
really
people.
Neatly, because if you literally park Ukraine to the side, i.e. try and minimise that as an issue for most Russians, which the propaganda is saying to them, it's not a major issue, don't worry, we're in there to rescue people, and then you've got the rest of the world making their lives shit with sanctions, it could be squeaky bum time. So J.K. Rowling J.K. Rowling was used as a pawn in this debate. And you know what? I said to Nadja on the phone earlier, I said, it feels like someone at the Daily Mail has been whispering to Putin how he can make progress here. Accuse the rest of the world of being woke, and you might get away with things. Polar Bear Club, feel a bit sorry for J.K. Rowling. Yeah, I know what you mean. What did J.K. Rowling say? She said that critiques of Western cancel culture are possibly not best made by those currently slaughtering civilians. She also referenced an article about the jailed anti-corruption campaigner Navalny, your man, and
who had the temerity not to die when he was poisoned
outrageous
by Russian spies, and so is now just been given 9 years in a gulag.
And she said she hit out at the Russian president for jailing and poisoning critics. So it's a bit smart, Putin lampooning us about cancel culture whilst he's trying to cancel all of Ukraine in the most brutal of ways. It just makes me nervous
because this is similar to what he was doing with Ukraine, saying about there's Nazis and they're coming after Russia and it's...
Well, the more worrying thing that I heard the other day was this. Someone high up in Putin's circle said, if we feel that there is essentially, and this is where I think the West, we have to think about this, guys. You and me and you, us and you, we want your thoughts. If there is a perception in Russia that there's an existential threat to Russia, i.e., we just don't want Russia on the globe, we want to bring them to their knees, we want to punish them.
Which way he's going now.
And let me give you some historical precedent for this. World War II wouldn't have happened to overly punish Germany. Do you get me? It was in the punishing of Germany for World War I and the seeking of reparations that Germany was reduced economically to a place that Hitler could grow in. Think on that. So we've got a country, Russia, that already has Putin, and there's the possibility that if we push them economically too far, it will create an even more extremist opinion. So this guy who said if there's that's what he means by an existential threat to Russia. He said in those circumstances, nuclear weaponry would be an option because if they're cut off from the rest of the world, they've got nothing to lose from the rest of the world. And that's where I think, and you'll probably hear, I reckon you'll hear people talking about this in the next week or so, we have to ask serious probing questions about, ironically, how we can prop Russia up post-Ukraine.
Yeah.
Whatever post-Ukraine is.
It's like we've been saying right from the beginning, if you back a spoilt, screaming toddler into a corner with no way to get out, they just keep screaming. And we can't, if we make this a hopeless situation,
yeah.
And if things are getting so hopeless for him, we don't know if it's propaganda or not, but his inner circle are closing in on him, and it's dangerous. We've got to give him a way out.
What do you think, guys?
But he does keep ratcheting it up. I mean, what are people supposed to do?
I wonder if he's actually read Harry Potter. Mick and Mac, do you agree? I mean, that's my sense of things now. My hope is that behind all of this, there are diplomats beavering away, both diplomats, good diplomats in Russia and diplomats in the West, all saying, look, guys, I mean, it sounds awful to say that you kind of hive off the Ukrainian problem as if it's not important. Not at all. We're going to have to find a way of having a stance on Ukraine and having a different stance on Russia. Because I think if we squeeze Russia out of the world completely, that ain't as simple as it sounds. And it could get really, really mucky. And that's what they mean by saying if there's an existential threat to Russia.
YouTube says, and India would trade with Russia too. Two of the world's biggest economies would continue to trade with Russia.
China and India. We become utterly irrelevant. Now, meeting that today, obviously, is Biden.
He's a worry.
Biden is a worry.
He's shuffling around.
Biden is a worry.
I mean, he kind of threatened chemical weapons yesterday. Well, he didn't even know that he had.
Well, yeah, he said, if chemical weapons happen, someone in a corridor or somewhere said to him, what would you do? And he said, we'd respond in kind. Yeah. Which suggests to me that you're going to do something similar. And then when pushed on it, on some other thing, he said to a journalist, you're trying to catch me out. No, we're just asking you very simple questions, which you seem to be stumbling over, Mr. Biden. Does anyone else remember all of that conflab around Biden's son? That was with Ukraine, wasn't it? That was all involved with Ukraine. I also heard rumour last night, driving back late last night, that Biden might be going to visit Ukraine. Did you hear that?
Well, God.
To sort of rub salt in Putin's wounds.
Stop poking the bear.
Stop poking the... Well, you know, I think... Who thinks we've done as much as we can do, sort of economically, and we should stop?
I think we should stop. I think we have to give him a way out. I think he's not going to stop with Ukraine, and the Ukrainians are fighting with such bravery, but how can they win? Because he's got the most awful weapons. He'll just keep going. He's not going to just go, oh, okay, fair enough. just pack up the simple weapons I've been using and bugger off back home. He's not going to do that.
But that said, there are reports coming through that as many as 30,000 of Putin's troops have either died, deserted, or been taken prisoner. And if you remember that the number of troops claimed to be on the border by American intelligence was 190,000. This has had a serious impact on Russia has had a wake-up call as to what war is about. And I don't necessarily think his ambitions will be able to go much further than Ukraine now. I think
Really?
I think it's so not gone according to plan. Ashley,
To be honest, Mark, yeah, you're right. But every respected military man that comes on the radio, and they are all men. There's no women. Every single one of them says he's wearing himself out, and the strategies are terrible.
Which is why today he said there's the inference in some speech he's given somewhere that he's only going to concentrate on the Donbass region.
Vicky Edwards, of course they're not all vile human beings.
Oh.
This is only Putin we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, no, the troops
I mean,
are
most of those troops are poor souls that did not know what they were going to be. And that's why so many of them are deserting. And we must be careful to protect Russian people as well.
Absolutely.
I mean,
well, that's my point about the
I've been hearing stories today
economics.
the way some of the Russian people here are being treated. No. That's just evil on evil.
No, I agree.
It's not the individual Russians.
Ashley says, we wouldn't stand a chance if any kind of war starts here. We don't have any underground place where people can shelter or anything. Funny you should say that, but in the southwest of England, there is a huge underground bunker that was built for Winston Churchill.
That's
I filmed there.
MeTube, that's what I hope. MeTube just said, just coming up, that she thinks that Putin is getting frustrated. I think the negotiation will result in the Crimea and Donbass region being...
That's what I heard tonight.
That's what I think they have to do now.
They have to.
Because there's going to be no... nothing, no buildings, no infrastructure, no facilities left for Ukraine, because if he keeps just raising it to the ground. Whereas this way, he looks like he's one. I mean, okay, we say that, Crimea and the Donbass, but he took Crimea.
Well, he
years
annexed
ago.
it, yeah. He's asking for recognition.
So, and the Donbass, what does that mean? Does that mean people in the Donbass region, Ukrainians, could move out and move back into
I presume
Ukraine?
so. I presume
and
so.
he would fill that with Russians.
Well, I mean, he's been flooding Russians. I mean, the worry is that he'll flood Russians into everywhere. Russian people that he sort of ships in literally to kind of create an opinion that
Well,
is
Pink
anti
Lady,
the state.
you say, would he stop there though? And as Mark was saying earlier, and a lot of military people I've been listening to the radio say he's run himself a bit dry. This has cost him personally millions and millions, hasn't it? He's had to put his own money into this.
Yeah, I mean, he's yeah, I mean, look, here's a small example of how things aren't going for him and how things aren't as clear as they seem when it comes to Russian soldiers and our opinion on them, which is, again, going back to, do you remember Facebook /Meta saying they would allow postings saying, let's kill Russian soldiers? I mean, that's quite something. Russian brigade commander was killed by his own troops running their tanks and trucks over him. That's how much Russian soldiers didn't want to do what they were being instructed to do. One of Vladimir Putin's brigade commanders has been killed by one of his own troops, it's been reported, with a military tank. He literally drove it over him. I mean, this is what you're dealing with. So you've got the horrors of what's happening between Russia and Ukraine, and then you've got the horrors of what's happening between the Russian soldiers and the top brass and all that sort of thing. And Catherine Clausen, you're right, 5 top Russian generals have been killed. This is not going the way Russia planned. So I think what I hope we'll see, I mean, it sounds awful because it's not nice for Ukraine, we will see a retreat to those 2 regions, as MeTube says, and then there will have to be some rapid diplomatic discussions about what happens with the sanctions after that. What happens with the sanctions? Because I tell you now, you could have exactly the same preconditions to Germany in the 20s and 30s before World War II. And that could be a bigger problem in 15, 20 years' time from now, if these sanctions bite as effectively as they could.
Yeah.
There
has to be the promise that the sanctions will lift if they just stop.
I think there has to be. I mean, maybe,
Because we're trying to get him to stop. I don't think it should go on for a punishment for years afterwards, because it's not fair on the Russian people.
Pink Lady calls it a mutiny.
Mutiny.
Sanctions will end with further negotiation for reparations. I think what they could do is they could get to a point where I tell you what we could do. We could negotiate a reduction of sanctions if Russia was to foot the bill for repairing the damage they did.
Yes, we can, Zoe Griffiths. Lots of love to Zoe Griffiths, stepdad, who she says is lovely.
Jim.
He's suffering at the minute with COVID, so get better
Oh,
soon.
Zoe's stepdad, Jim. Hope you get well soon.
Right, that's
okay.
enough of Russia.
So let's talk about the menopause.
Oh my God, have you heard, girls? There's a shortage, a serious shortage at the HRT. Now, this is both good and bad news, because the good news is that there's been an increase in requests for HRT by 30%, which means we're all getting the message out there, whether it be on Loose Women, documentaries like Davina McCall.
Juniper Grace's mum is struggling to get hers.
Yeah, right. Well, be really careful. Don't start buying it from dodgy places on the internet. Don't be getting into any swapping. I was just reading an article about this. And
that's what they were passing to each other on the street corner.
Yeah. One of the problems is that because, as I've said to you many times before, I think it's 60% of medical schools don't teach anything about the menopause. So a lot of doctors, when you go in, are struggling with the concept of it, quite extraordinary, but also don't really know the products. So there isn't a shortage across all estrogen. So what you need to do is go to, what did they say it was? The British Menopause Society website, and have a read there, because you might need to inform your GP of a different estrogen you can have.
Right.
Like there's loads of different estrogens. Like my one I use is Everel, it's a patch. And I don't think there's a shortage of that yet, so you might just need to change. Now, sometimes when you change over your HRT, you can have a little bit of wobble with your symptoms.
Velvet Vicky Waiting says, I'm suffering because of the shortage for a month. I've been suffering from cluster migraines because of this.
Oh, God.
God.
Keep persisting, Velvet Vicky. Keep persisting. But I think we're going to do it on Loose Women next week. We're getting an expert in to talk about it.
Because this is resonating. Lots of people are coming through saying they're really struggling. Look, Susie Othman had to wait weeks for my gel.
The gel is a big thing. But the Everol patches apparently are the same thing as the gel. So go on, my doctor, the menopause website. Go on there. There must be articles and advice on there. So don't fear. There is stuff out there. You might just have to change the brand.
Claire Smiley mentioning, don't expect anyone to see her on Stanzo. Speak to you soon. Perimenopause sucks. Yeah, I mean, don't forget, it's not just, is perimenopause, what's perimenopause?
Perimenopause is before you've gone through the menopause,
right.
And lots of people don't realise that that's the best time to start taking HRT before the symptoms go crazy, and so that you can get the full effects of saving the brain and the heart and the bones and all of that. So perimenopause, though lots of GPs don't know that, mind you, surely all the stuff that's getting through to people now must be getting through to doctors.
Must be getting through to... Emma Staple just said, oh no, because she feels her relationship with her mum has got better since her mum was on HRT. I mean,
that's what I was saying to Mark today.
It's a light-hearted comment. I mean, when I said that a chill went down my spine when she said this, they're for a lot of relationships, it's been an absolute godsend, obviously to the person, but obviously to the relationships around them. So I can well imagine that, and the shortage is simply because demand, it's basically Davina McCall's fault, isn't it?
Hang on, I think Loose Women has got a lot to...
No, sorry, I wasn't...
But way before that documentary, I think it's a mixture. Across the board, there are so many women in the public eye that have started to really be honest. Well, they have been being honest over the years. And Louise Newson, my doctor, has been out there a lot talking about it. And people have started to say, why the fuck should I be putting up with all of this? I haven't been given good advice. They're being armed with how to ask for their HRT, because some people were just being turned away willy-nilly by doctors. And so there's an army of women going, we've had enough, which is great, but because of that demand, supply is down.
Elsa Pop asks, how would you know you're starting the menopause when you take a contraceptive pill that stops your period?
Good question. There's a... because I don't know whether the pill could give you some of the symptoms that are perimenopause. Again, to go to the menopause doctor's website and there'll be something on there about it. But don't forget, there is something like 50 or 60 different symptoms of perimenopause. Right. So check the symptoms list, and I should think if you've got 10, then go and have a look. Also, there's a really good Instagram account, Menopause Matters. We had the woman who runs that as a guest last week. She was great. That's another one you can get information from.
Yeah.
Information is power, girls.
Inflammation.
Inflammation. You're not doing the quiz, are you? Faith just said, can you do the Friday quiz?
I'll do it tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow
Faith.
morning, I'll do the news quiz tomorrow morning. But Sophie R asks a very important question that I have to seek permission from my other half on. In previous years, you've done Oscar night live streams and stayed up all night to watch the big show. Are you doing that on the channel again this Sunday night for us?
No.
For you?
No, because his mental health gets fucked when he stays up all night. No, because then I pay the price 3 days later. No. No. Sorry, he's not coming out to play.
Oh, there's your answer.
Because you won't have a sleep the next day. You'll push through. Mark, I'm gonna take I'm gonna unplug the television and I'm gonna turn the Wi-Fi off.
I've got the exterminator.
Listen, guys, thank you so much. Have a lovely evening.
Yeah,
We'll see
Friday
you
night,
tomorrow.
fuck off Friday, and quiz tomorrow morning, Faith. Okay.